It's November 3rd, 2019. It's been pretty sunny and dry here in Seattle, and you can see I kind of rearranged the garden a bit. There's the bulbs, and let's just start the update over here. You can see I moved the peony over here for it to die back. The lavender is still doing well. You can see it's still sending out a bunch of new flowers. And here's a bunch more new growth. And here's a spider. This guy has been hanging around for a while. And this is the rosemary. You can see there's a lot of flowers, and they've been attracting a lot of hummingbirds. Down here's another rosemary, and this hydrangea. And I moved the calla lily over here for it to die back, as well as the rhubarb, which is over here. You can see all the leaves are super wrinkly now. Over here we have the saffron. You can see the leaves are getting taller, slowly though. And this is the sweet alyssum. They're still flowering. Over here we have another saffron pot. You can see this weird little saffron growing from this dead looking bulb. Apparently it's not dead. So yeah. And here's another one actually, right here. It's so weird. But yeah, I'm gonna bury both of them in the same pot. And here's the summer snowflake. You can see this one over here. It's actually sprouting already. Summer snowflake. And here's the third summer snowflake pot. No sprouts yet. Oh, actually there's a tiny sprout right over there. Green onion looks pretty much the same. And down here you can see it's a lot more bulb plants that I have watered and ready for them to sprout. It's ready for the winter now. That's tulip. Over here we have the mulberry. All the leaves are pretty much gone now. Down here we have the lily of the valley. And if you look closely, you can see those little sprout things. Those are kind of like the dormant buds that is gonna sprout during the spring. And over here we have the blueberry. You can see most of the leaves are also gone. I moved the grape hyacinth over here. You can see all the leaves. Pretty sure they're gonna die back again. Here we have the new hydrangea. You can see this leaf over here has started to change color a little bit. I think it's gonna drop the leaves pretty soon. And here's the strawberries. You can see a lot of the leaves have started to change color. Down here I moved the dahlia over here. You can see still some flower buds forming. It's not really dying back yet. And the purple potato, you can see some of them has already been uprooted right here. I'm gonna harvest of the potatoes pretty soon. We'll see. And this blueberry isn't doing too well. As I mentioned last week, you can see those branches are kind of dying. Here's more hydrangea. You can see a lot of the leaves are now yellow, and some of the older flowers are actually kind of drying up now. And this other hydrangea is doing the same thing. Over here we have the asparagus. You can see the branches are turning yellow, so it's definitely dying back. I could probably cut them off pretty soon. Over here we have the catnips. They're doing really well. You can see they're really growing outwards. And then the raspberry, you can see still flowering actually. Here's the flowers and some maturing fruits. More flowers, and over here we have the fruits. Plant isn't doing too much really. Everything is slowing down now. Here we have the grape. You can see pretty much all of the leaves are gone now. Here we have some nice succulents. Over here we have the bulb plants that I've put out. This is the crocus pot. This one is hyacinth. Over here is the snowdrops. And here's another crocus. This one is the older daffodils. And this is the trumpet daffodil. And if you look closely, there's actually some sprouts coming out already. Like this one over here. And the artichoke still look pretty much the same. You can see it's still sending out some new leaves. As for the indoor garden, as you can see, I moved the elephant food plant over here. The leaves are still pretty full. Hopefully it's not going to drop too much leaf. And here we have another succulent. Let's look at the baby plants. Looks like they're all doing really well. At another window, we have more succulents. Let's see the petal plants. All doing well. Here we have the orchids. The mini snowflakes are not doing too much. And here we have the Venus slipper orchid. You can see a part of the flower has fallen, and the flower stalk is completely brown now. I'm gonna cut it off. And this new growth over here is getting a lot bigger now. Let's look at this other flower. You can see it's definitely wilting. And over here, the new growth on this side is getting a lot bigger. And this other new growth on the opposite end is coming out nicely. Here's the string of pearls. Doesn't look like too much has changed since last week. The mini oncidium, you can see this flower stalk over here is branching nicely. And this other mini oncidium, a bunch of flowers forming on this 2 flower spikes. And this 3rd flower spike is started to emerge. Here we have this variety of snake plants. You can see this leaf is getting taller, and there's some syrupy secretion. And here's the phalaenopsis. Looks pretty much the same to me. Arrowhead plant, very slow. And this orchid over here, you can see this new leaf. And I moved the frizzle sizzle over here. Hopefully there's enough light, and the flower stalk is still around. Wondering when it's gonna wilt. Now let's take a closer look at this succulent pot. You can see this succulent has etiolated. The other ones are doing pretty good, I think. Not seeing any major sign of etiolation. But some leaf drops have started to occur. Like right here, you can see this one. So yeah, I'm gonna need to move it to a brighter spot. Here we have the pineapple. You can see the leaves are still coming out. Up here we have the ficus bonsai. You can see the leaves are actually doing pretty well. Still pretty green. And over here we have some new growth, like that tiny thing, and that one's doing all well. And the spider plants, you can see it's still sending out lots of new flower spike. Like this one over here is gonna flower. Hoya plants, this vine is still sending out this new leaf. It's getting bigger compared to last week. The prayer plants, you can see the new growth, and I definitely need to water the plants because it's wilting. Lastly, we have the succulent fern. You can see this older shield frond is turning brown, and this newer shield frond is still expanding. And in the center is some new antler fronds forming.